Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now July 3rd of 2022, and we are not only getting closer to Star Wars Andor, but we're also getting very close to other TV shows that will debut this fall, such as The Bad Batch Season 2 and Tales of the Jedi, before we get to The Mandalorian Season 3 by 2023. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you also very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one thing about Disney Star Wars is that we already have a lot of people out there, such as Jon Favreau, George Lucas, and Dave Filoni working together as this trio of a team to really bring Star Wars back to its roots and to bring back a lot of Star Wars legends into the new Disney canon that's going to be used in several different ways. Now, focusing on the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series, now that it has officially come to a close with the season finale that debuted over a week ago, a lot of fans have been reflecting on the Kenobi series and looking back at the show in its entirety. And a lot of fans have a lot of valid points of criticism over many of the key choices that were made by Deborah Chow and Joby Harold in the Kenobi series. And this is something that a lot of people have been pointing out several times about the editing flaws, the lack of musical choices, the overall problems with the writing and the editing, and everything that falls into everything with the Kenobi show that really sums everything up to it being very much subpar, pretty much from Part 1 all the way to Part 6, and it only has a couple of good moments here and there, at least in my opinion. You know, to me, that the Vader and the Kenobi duel at the end was great. That was amazing. I loved it. But there's only a very few good parts just like that. But I digress. Focusing on Jon Favreau, when he was recently questioned about developing The Mandalorian Season 3 and 4, and questioned about his point of view on the Kenobi series, and what he thinks about Stuart Beattie, the original writer, what Jon Favreau would have done, what he would have fixed, he goes on to state, of course, the following. Now, before that, with Obi-Wan Kenobi Episode 6 now out on Disney+, creators Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are already in the talks to joining the second season of the Kenobi series that was recently greenlit by Disney CEO Bob Chapek. Now, recently Favreau was able to talk about Mando 3 and 4 that he is working on, to where he was eventually questioned about his thoughts on the production of Kenobi. Jon went on to state the following to the fans: "As a creator and as a person who builds these worlds, looking at the Kenobi series, I would have done so many different things with this show. All respect to Deborah Chow with her directing and Joby with his writing, but we needed a step up with the editing in this show. When I first started watching this, was the first thing that popped into my mind was that this needed some heavy-duty editing work in some major scenes. That can never be neglected, and something that is crucial to the appearance of a story like this. So that was one thing I would have absolutely changed. Another thing that I have to bring up is that there were too many dark scenes in the series. Again, all respect to Deborah and Joby, but not everybody has an OLED screen, and it can be very hard to see in some of the scenes, especially with episodes 3 and 5. I actually tried to become a very much, positive person on the Kenobi series, but I saw these flaws, but I was way too busy at the time working on the Book of Boba Fett if I wanted to get involved, and getting ready for work on Ahsoka and Mando." Now, he goes on to say the following as well: "But a show like Kenobi, I was surprised it had some visual flaws like that, as we as creators would always make sure to either fix in post, or at the very minimum, recognize the flaws we have, and delay the series by a week or two." Let me just, go over one thing that Favreau points out here that I do agree with, is that yes, there were a lot of scenes in the show that were extremely dark. I don't know if you guys agree with me or Favreau, but watching this on TV, and a lot of people that I know that watched on TV found a lot of scenes to be very dark, except for the people that had different types of, TVs out there. Like Jon mentioned, an OLED is going to have no problem with those dark scenes. But these dark scenes, such as the fight between Vader and Kenobi in Episode 3, we had other dark scenes in Episode 6, there was a lot of dark scenes in the scenes that really just did not make sense to me. I don't know why they had to make it so pitch black where the lightsaber is literally making each character fully blue or fully red. And I thought that was a big problem, at least on their end. It really kind of just took away the value of the character's color correction. Now, moving forward from that, alright, this is where things begin to pick up a bit. Now, he goes on to say, the next thing I wanted to bring up, as a creator, one other thing I would have fixed was to get rid of that shaky cam. It looked like Joby and Deborah were going for a specific style in the show that just wasn't working for them at times, with this shaky cam thing going on. Of course, there were many story choices in this series that did not make much sense to me at times, and I do agree with Stuart Beattie, the original writer. How would Vader actually know that Anakin, how would Reva actually know that Anakin is Vader, who destroyed the younglings, is actually Vader? How did she really know that? I mean, she never saw him in that mechanical suit, right? Just because Anakin was taking down younglings, to me, just wasn't the best explanation as to why Reva knew Anakin was Vader. Now, he does have a point. I really have to agree with that. He does have a point. The fact that Reva put the pieces together so easily like that just made no sense to me. You know, I mean, it could have easily been somebody else that turned. You know, it could have been just Anakin turned to the dark side for whatever reason. Or who knows, you know? Maybe, you know, different Jedi were thinking that other Jedi were the enemy. But Favreau goes on to say this that kind of progresses all of this. He goes on to say that Anakin could have just been an accomplice of Palpatine's, or something that went rogue, who was working with Vader for all she knew. It seems that this character was just able to put the actual things all together as way too many times, and letting Vader have her live also to me did not make much sense. I do agree with Stuart on all of that. Hey, I would have loved to have seen a Kenobi trilogy with Stuart on that actual project. I think he was going to do a great job. I remember meeting him and talking all about it, and it really was a better story than what we got. But hey, creators make mistakes, and we learn from them, and we focus on the future, and we don't look back. That's how we actually evolve as creators. So, Jon Favreau has another interesting point there. The fact that Vader let Reva live. And we talked about this on our own already. Vader letting Reva live made absolutely no sense. Even Stuart Beattie, the original writer, said this in the direct interview, that he would have never allowed that. He would have actually let Reva die, and that's what he wanted to do, and to him it made absolutely no sense as to why Reva was let go by both the Grand Inquisitor and Darth Vader. Think about it. Why would you let somebody live that knows your identity? I mean, I don't know what Joby Harold was thinking. I really don't, but I think it's pretty much as simple as this. They just wanted this character to have her own show. We talked about this, by the way. The show was canceled, the Reva Star Wars TV series, and now basically that reason of letting her live has gone to a complete waste. It was done for absolutely no reason, given that the Reva series is now no more. I just don't understand it. I mean, you can see that they're gonna maybe try to create some kind of complex plot there in the future. Maybe Vader tries to hunt down Reva, but even that's gonna make no sense. He had the opportunity right then and there. He had the chance to do it, and it just really felt so out of line with his character. So overall, guys, you know, drop a comment below. Let me know what you guys have to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. No hiding. From night to moon, we hear them moans again.